Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. We're all very, very excited to have you here. This is episode 2 of our webinar series into retrofit and upgrade technologies. Today, it's about solar panels, which we're all very excited about, and how you at home, our customers at Resi, can save money and make money, just as importantly, while you extend. So, yeah, we're very, very excited to get started today. And this is part of our revolution, the Resi's retrofit revolution. What is that? It's that it makes sense. It is the right time to upgrade and retrofit your home when you're extending. It makes sense at so many different levels, which we'll get into today. So yeah, thank you very much for joining, everybody. I'm here today. My name is Mark Hood. I'm the head of architecture at Resi. I manage a cracking team of about 40 architects and technologists and designers, and they really are great at what they do. And one of them's here today, Jack. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm a senior designer in the design team, so overseeing projects through the sort of concept design stage up until sort of submitting to planning. So very early stages, talking about all different sort of possibilities. And yeah, kind of really big topic talking about retrofitting.
Jack is great. He's done over 200 projects at Resi. 400 projects at Resi. Customers literally love him. He knows what he's talking about. Learned his trade from working on sites as a young boy, and now he's one of our best designers.
Thank you.
And we're absolutely delighted today to have the Heatable team here with Ben, the CEO. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, no problem at all. So I'm Ben. So I am the CEO of Heatable. So we're a team of about 50 people, and we are a national installer of solar panels and battery systems.
Heatable, they are the best in the business. We are genuinely excited. We have a partnership with them. We're trying to get the message out there that solar panels and batteries, we all should be considering them. So yeah, we're very excited to have you today, Ben.
Fantastic. I'm quite great to be here.
And before we get started, we want to give everyone here on the call an offer. So the first 50 people who send an email after this here to retrofit@resi.co.uk, I'll say it again, retrofit@resi.co.uk with the code RRR, you will get a free advice call on retrofit with one of our team. They really are great at what they do. There's architects and technologists. So after the call, if you have any questions, send us an email to retrofit@resi.co.uk and you'll be one of the first 50 people to get a free call. So let's get into it. First of all, Resi, we've been going, I think, for about 7 years now.
Yeah, it's about that. I've been here for 4. And
you've been here for 4. And our mission is to make this whole industry less confusing and sort of streamline the sort of end-to-end process from your survey to design to technical to getting on site with a great builder. So we are the UK's #1 home extension company. It's a good title to have.
Yeah.
Our reviews are excellent. We've done over 7,000 projects. So we've extended so many homes. So we know what we're doing. And now the next stage of the company is getting the message out there about how you can upgrade and retrofit your home whilst you're extending. So that's us as a company. And Heatable.
Yeah, so Heatable, so we are a national installer, but we specialize in energy efficient products. So whether that is solar systems, battery systems, high efficiency heating systems. We've installed around 50,000 energy products. It's a lot. Yeah, it's been a slog. And we started with a business that was founded in 2013 by myself and my brother. And we really got into the efficiency game around 2017. And we've got lots of awards and accolades. So we're a national Which Trusted Trader, which is a great achievement for the business. We're an MCS registered business, and we've got over 9,000 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. So trusted by customers, and specialists in this field.
Great. And that's why we're so happy to be working with Heatable for this is a company who've been here for quite a long time. The customers love them. Quality of the installation's high. The efficiencies are high. This is a market leading installer of PVs and batteries, which we're excited for our customers to see.
Yeah.
And before we get started, at the end of the webinar, we're going to have a question session. So if you put your questions into the question box, we'll pick them up at the very, very end. So we're going to start today on what does retrofit actually mean. I think it's a word which is quite confusing.
Yeah.
I asked my parents, what does retrofit mean? And they're like, I don't have a clue. So it's about upgrading your homes, which we'll come on to. We're going to talk about why it makes sense to retrofit your home whilst you're renovating.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go in deep to the solar panels, what they're about, why we should use them, the efficiencies, the planning, a bit on the big picture, and then questions at the very end.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Those.
Let's do it, guys. So what does retrofitting actually mean? Jack, for you, whenever you're speaking to your customers, like how do you talk about retrofit and what does it mean for you?
Well, I mean, the basic bit is essentially to upgrade what's currently there to make it more comfortable, whether that's sort of physically comfortable, financially comfortable by sort of lowering your energy bills.
I love that. Financially and physically comfortable.
Exactly.
They're
I
both
mean,
so important.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about kind of how you live in your home, but also how the home runs. I mean, if your energy bills are costing you a fortune, you're not going to sit there comfortably. So if the house runs itself, then you're going to feel comfortable in that home. And again, sort of alongside that, you're also helping the environment. You're lowering your carbon footprint, and you're doing your bit for the environment.
I feel like a lot of customers come to us. There are some who do care about the environment, which is great, obviously, but a lot of them come to us because of the bills. They want to reduce the bills. They want to know how they can invest now to like save money over a longer period of time. Is that what you're seeing?
Absolutely. I think that's the majority of clients will be interested in sort of what the initial impact is going to be and sort of looking at that sort of long term of how that's going to impact them going forward. But yeah, I mean, no matter what angle you approach that, you're going to save money and you're going to lower your carbon footprint.
Great. And whenever you have your building and you're looking to put an extension on it with your customers, what are the upgrades that you can do to the existing building prior to considering the solar panels and everything else?
So ultimately, we first assess sort of the condition and the typology of different house, but ultimately you want to make sure that no matter what you're putting into that house, you're keeping it in there. You're keeping all the heat you generate. So, I mean, we first look at sort of fabric. So you've got the loft, the walls, the windows, all these different areas where you want to make sure you're not losing your heat. And make sure that if you're going to be sort of carrying out a lot of intrusive works, you do as much of that as possible at one go.
It makes sense. So check the loft insulation, the windows and doors. If you've got single pane, leaky windows or low quality doors, it makes sense while you're putting an extension on to look at them as well.
Absolutely. I mean, you think that sort of replacing the windows is not just that kind of causes a lot of disruption. It's having to redecorate, replaster around them.
Yeah.
If you're going to be doing a lot of that anyway, you want to go ahead and start sort of upgrade at the same time.
And this is what you've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years at Resi?
Yeah, then that and more. So yeah, there's a lot of that kind of coming through a lot sort of more often lately. But I mean, it's kind of an ever increasing market.
Ben, what are the mechanical upgrades someone can do to the house? So if they've done the fabric, they've changed the windows, they're no longer leaking, what can they do with the mechanical side?
Mechanical, yeah. So when I think of mechanical, I think of generation. So solar panels can generate energy to now power that super efficient home. Now the fabric's all been done. Battery systems enable us to capture that energy, store it for use later on. And then you've got more advanced heating systems such as a heat pump. So they go hand in hand with building fabric. You know, it's very important to improve the building fabric. And a heat pump's also a generator. So it takes 1 unit of energy and it multiplies it by about 3. So these are all generations of technology, and that's what's going to give you that mechanical upgrade to complement the fabric.
And these, I guess, these all complement each other as well. They can all be used together. The solar, battery, heat pump, they all it makes it even more efficient.
Yeah, that screen there, to me, that's decarbonisation of a home. So that's heat, power, and storage. It's everything that you need to decarbonize.
And for our viewers at home, what does decarbonisation mean? Like in the most simplest terms, like what are they doing to the home by decarbonising it?
So decarbonize it, what you're doing is you're stopping emitting emissions on site or buying energy that's come from a carbon-based energy source. So if you generate energy with solar PV, that's clean, it's renewable. If you store energy from that system in a battery or charge it with off-peak renewable energy, again, that's carbon free. And obviously with a heat pump, we're not burning a fossil fuel or a combustion on site to get heat. We're using energy from the air and amplifying it to heat our homes.
It's just great for the environment. It's
really good for the environment. And, you know, I think there was a stat we were talking before, I think it's about 20% of emissions come from the home. So tackling these things locally, that helps us get towards net zero.
I love it. Okay, so and we talked about this before. We really believe in why retrofitting or upgrading your home makes so much sense whenever you're extending. Like, Jack, why is this here? Like, why does it make sense for me if I was going to start extending my home here in Brixton? Why does it make sense for myself as an extender to retrofit my home as well?
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately, any extension, any work you do in your lifetime is going to be costly. It's going to be disruptive, and it's going to take a lot of time and effort. So, I mean, why do that multiple times over when you can do it all in one? So, I mean, first of all, we got the kind of the cost of that. I mean, the enabling works that are required just to put the solar panels on.
Yeah.
If you're doing a loft conversion, you've got that scaffold in there anyway. You've lost the cost of that doing it twice over. The efficiency, again, I mean, you're constructing something new. You want that, it's going to have to meet sort of current regulations. You want that to work quite efficiently. So you want the rest of the house to sort of work just as efficiently. Otherwise, the heat's just going to escape elsewhere.
So just that you don't want to have a fantastic high efficiency extension on a leaky house, because your extension is going to be trying to overperform for the house, and you lose that heat through the house.
Exactly, that heat's just going to go wherever it's being drawn to, and if there's a gap that it can be sucked out of, it's going to just draw straight to that.
Absolutely.
If you're raising funds to do the renovation works as well, there's lots of mortgage providers out there now that are looking to lend on green projects. So if you're raising money to do the build, you can get a lower rate interest for the renewable retrofit side of the project. So
is it all banks? Is that like, how do our customers find that out? Is it like speaking to their banks?
Speaking to their bank or a specialist advisor. I don't want to name any banks that are doing it because I'm not sure which ones are currently right now. They're not paying. But there's you can get a welcome sponsor it. You can get a green top up. Speak to your lender. If you're refinancing a project, there is a massive ambition to lend into the home for green projects.
That's great. And I hear a lot about the value add these green interventions can have to your property. Like, Jack, have you seen this? Like, have your customers raised concerns about the value add, or have you seen this here within your projects?
I think most people are thinking a little bit more about the comfort and kind of what it can do to improve their sort of day-to-day use of the house. But absolutely, it's kind of it's an end goal of if it's going to cost me X amount to put this on my property, am I going to see that back? You think we think about that whenever we extend. We don't want to outprice ourselves of the street. So whenever we're doing sort of any additional retrofitting works, we're keeping that in mind. We're making sure that we're not overpricing the works. But ultimately, I think you're generally going to see your money back because you're making that house more desirable. You're making it more efficient, and it costs less to run.
And Ben, we spoke about this before. Like, it does bring value to the property. If you compare a street of houses and one house has solar panels and good insulation and good windows, it should stand out.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about what your energy bill at home has done in the last 24 months, and you're buying a property, we're already in a market of higher rates, so the expenditure in home is stretched. And then if you can have a property that the energy bills are 25% that of the neighbouring property,
it's a no-brainer.
And that work's been done, so you know the MIVE, if you like, is out of the way. Yeah, from a value perspective, I can't see how it doesn't add value, and definitely desirability at the bare minimum.
Yeah. Fantastic. And okay, that's great. We know about the fabric. We know about why it makes sense to upgrade whenever you're extending. Solar panels. So in the most simplest terms, what are solar panels, and are they worth it?
So solar panels essentially are a piece of equipment that capture light from the atmosphere and they convert that into energy. Now, there's actually a quick fact here that I put on there, which was the sun emits 10 times the volume of energy every day that we need to power the whole Earth. Yeah, and so it's a massive abundance of energy. This product is now in the late stage of its development. They've never been more efficient than they are now, but you can capture that light and turn that into energy. And it no longer needs to be direct sunlight. It's just light in the atmosphere, especially with our product.
And so it's pretty cloudy out there today. You're saying right now in England and Scotland, Wales, with a cloudy, overcast day, you can still collect energy from the sun and transfer it into your house.
Yeah, so we've never had a single day with any customer, any site that they've not produced energy.
That's pretty good.
The brighter it is, the more you're going to make and the more you're going to get. But in these conditions right now, our panels and some of the more efficient systems out there, they'll still capture and convert energy.
Okay. And you said here that they can deliver 75% of the home needs. So the majority of the energy required for the home can be delivered by solar panels on the roof.
Yeah, thanks to live monitoring and all the data sets that we have, we can see from our data and speaking to our clients that around 75% of the demand for the home is met by PV, solar PV, and a battery.
That's great. And Jack, just again, from your 400 projects of the last 4 or 5 years, have you seen do customers ask about solar? And are they asking it more now than before, or what's your experience?
Absolutely more than before. I mean, it's gone from perhaps you might get 1 or 2 a month. People start to sort of dip their toe in the water, be a little bit interested, and it's a weekly talk, a weekly topic that we sort of discuss nowadays.
Great.
And yeah, kind of just thinking about if I'm going to be doing all these works, what can I do to future-proof the property?
Great.
But the market in 2022 was bigger than 2013 to 2021 combined.
What's driving that? Like, well, what is the main? Is it
Energy
like,
prices? So
yeah.
the average pence per kilowatt went from about 15 pence to 30 pence overnight. And we were all waiting till, a lot of customers were on fixed rate deals and they were going to end. And you were faced with a bill that was going to double. What these systems do, and the reason we are so passionate about this market, is you are not exposed to this volatile energy market. There's lots of conflicts, lots of wars, and they drive the cost of energy through the roof. And it's a seller's market, energy, isn't it? It's not a buyer's market. So this protects you against market volatility.
So the energy crisis has accelerated like the progression of solar.
Yeah, the green agenda is massive. A lot of customers want to go green, but everyone's ambition is, look, my bills are too high.
Yeah. And how do they work? Like, if you put a solar panel on your roof, like how do I or our customers at home get the energy from the sun into the home?
So the solar panel reacts with light in the atmosphere, and it creates a reaction. That reaction creates energy, and that energy comes off the panel in DC, so it's direct current. Now, our homes don't use DC, they use AC, alternating current.
It's very technical. I love it.
Very technical. Try and keep it super simple. We have to convert that energy into AC, and we can use it in our homes.
And we're going to come on to batteries in a second, but by combining solar and a battery, like how do you sort of maximize this energy even further?
Yeah, so if the way that the solar system works is it's producing energy when there's light in the atmosphere.
Yep.
Now, if you're not consuming that energy, i.e. there's not a load in the home, that energy is going to go out to the grid, and you get income from that. But actually, most people are out in the day when it's sunny, and when it's light, and they come home at night when it's dark. What the battery does is all the energy that was going to go to the grid goes into the battery and it stores. So when you're at home at night, the house runs off the battery. It's a really bizarre feeling. Like the first time I had my system installed, and we were like, we're on the battery. This is really cool. But also, if the load in the home is quite high, and we were doing some demos before, and like today it's not too bright, the PV is not producing a lot, the battery can supplement that load. So you're never pulling from the grid.
I feel like batteries are this like best kept secret of the industry, like, and they're starting to give momentum. Like, Jack, have your customers are starting to ask more about solar? Are they speaking about batteries at the minute, or is that something which we're not hearing as much?
I think naturally it's becoming more of a topic of discussion, but to be quite honest, I'd say majority of people that are interested in sort of doing these upgrades don't really know much about the batteries that can supplement them.
Yeah,
I think that's like, this is one of the biggest things. It's like this education of our customers, and like it just, for me, it makes so much sense to install a battery.
Yeah, it does.
Nobody knows what they are.
Yeah, it's new technology. Yeah. It's new technology.
And solar panels, how much do they cost? So
there's two different ways to look at this. I mean, prices start to give you some sort of benchmark for a panel only systems, no battery. You're looking at sort of for our system about £6,000. Larger systems, when you've got a battery, you're going to be spending between 10 and 15. I think what's an important point here is it's not a one size fits all approach. It's very much around the property, what your energy demands are. Where we excel as a business is we design systems individually and bespoke to that property and the energy demands. So that's a price range, but what we're not going to do is put a £15,000 system on if you only need a £7,000 system.
I feel like that bespoke piece is so important for our customers, that they know that this isn't just off the shelf on their house, may not be running as efficiently as they can, may not reduce their bills as much as they can, but what you're saying is you're doing bespoke size, cost, efficiency for every home. Yeah. So you're maximizing that value for the customer.
Yeah, our goal is that 75%. That's the business goal. So that can't be achieved by saying we do it for £10,000.
Yeah, we love that. And just back to batteries, because we love them. Why you said you sell batteries with most of your solar projects?
Yeah, so about 99%, but pretty much all of the
That's a lot.
systems, yeah, go out with a battery now, because it transforms the performance of the system. Batteries are quite a complex subject. We can make it as complex as you want. It's probably worth doing a separate
I agree.
follow-up on them. What's important to know is, look, it's complex, but we take all that on for you. So there's multiple batteries on the market, different sizes, different performance. Heatable are the experts in sort of speccing that battery for your home. But my recommendations to anyone would be, if you're having solar and you're a typical energy user, a battery is going to transform that performance and the return on that system for you.
And just the last point on batteries, some customers, maybe solar isn't suitable for them.
Yes.
And they would just get a battery, is that correct?
Yeah, so with the advancement of batteries now, we have a lot of clients where solar just doesn't fit for them. It's just the property type's not right, or maybe the expenditure is just above budget. A battery-only system still enables you to access off-peak renewable energy, and it can power your home for a third of the cost of what it normally would do. So that's a really interesting subject. I'd love to cover that on the second one, because I can show you graphs, I can show you how it works, and I can give you a fixed price for those as well.
Basically, tune in to episode 3 of the webinar series, where we'll discuss batteries with the Heatable team.
100%.
Sounds great. And planning permission, I know a lot of your customers, Jack, they're concerned about planning permission, they're concerned about the obstacles.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whenever we're kind of working on a project, we're tackling with different sort of planning strategies anyway. So we're looking at sort of what we can achieve within permitted development versus sort of going under full planning. And with the changes to permitted development, it's just kind of making things much easier. When we're sort of looking at loft conversion, sometimes we're actually building dormers where you would usually place your solar panels. So kind of the two can sometimes compromise each other. But now I understand it's much easier. You can actually install them on top of the dormer roofs.
Yeah, there's been lots of progress made in sort of the last 12 months around planning, just to knock down some of the red tape and get this revolution moving. So your typical on-roof, pitched roof system, permitted development rights, no permission required, not even a notification required, really. Exceptions to that, if you're in a conservation area, you've got a listed building, look, we're going to have to get some consultation on that. But the sort of most recent development on that has been flat roofs. So sort of November time last year, for a flat roof, you'd have to get plan permission, show some drawings for how the panels are going to look, because they're going to be tilted on a frame. Now you don't have to do that. It's moved under.
It feels like it's a game-changing move. There's a massive hurdle avoided for a lot of customers.
We're up about 300% on flat roof projects than we were this time last year.
A quick question on flat roofs. I know some of our customers have said to us in the past, they're concerned about the noise of solar panels on a flat roof. I know you and I have spoke with this before. And your response to that is?
It's not a problem anymore. Great. There's been tech there's out there now. We've never had a complaint.
Great. Again, I feel like this is some of these misconceptions or like this misinformation, which we're trying to like
it's
get
the
over.
Quality of the install and the product. That's what makes it different.
Great. And your products, we know that's a lot about like solar panels in general. I want to know more about the Heatables photovoltaic solar panels. Why are they the best products in the system out there at the minute?
So there's two reasons. There's two halves to it. The panel half of it, so the panel itself has been designed for the UK environment. So all panels are built on something called global design sort of specifications. And what that means is that panel can work in Spain, Africa, and North America, or here in the UK. Our panel is optimized for the UK because our weather system is obviously very different to that of South Africa. So we partnered with an Australian manufacturer called REA, and we bought the European license and rights to that product, and we had it developed for this environment. The second half of our technology is pretty much all the systems on the market now use something called string inverters. So this is where every panel is linked up, and then that goes into one central inverter. With our system, every panel has an inverter on the back of it. So each panel is a power plant. And what that means is they're not dependent on each other, and it's the safest solution you can get. So you've got the highest performing panel with the highest performing inverter. and you'll get about 20% more production.
That sounds good.
Yeah, we love it.
And I guess what I'm hearing there is, before we spoke about, you design these panels for the house,
Yeah,
but also your actual panel specification is designed for this country as well. So you're sort of doubling down on the UK weather. There's a gloomy day out there. You can still be seeing your technology today.
yeah.
We can still get the energy from the sun on this cold, overcast day.
Yeah, so we saw that before. We were going through some systems, some live data, and we're still producing energy. We don't do any other technology.
Yeah.
So we're not even in the string market in terms of, even though there's, from a cost perspective, it's probably a bit more attractive for us. It's not a technology we believe in, and it's not best for the clients. So we just don't do it.
And your second point is, if one panel was to fail, which it wouldn't, you don't need to. It doesn't affect all the other panels. It will go down by itself, like a Christmas tree lights.
This is the Christmas tree light, yeah. So when
I love this analogy.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, we had Christmas trees in the house, and there was always, the lights have gone off, and then it would be my job to pull all the bulbs out and find the one that was broken. And that's because they're wired in series, so they're all linked to each other. And that's how pretty much every solar system is done. Things are changing, we're ahead of it, and our system, if one Christmas tree goes out, one light goes out rather, the Christmas tree's still on, and we can carry on producing energy. We're not affected by the mishap of another panel.
And that's why we should get a heatable solar panel.
100%.
Fantastic. And you've got this cracking tool on your website. Talk to me about it, how the customers can get a quote very quickly.
Yeah. So not only are we addressing the challenge of the product specification in the UK and the fact that we want to do a better job of it, we're also doing a better job of the quoting system. So one of the challenges with people adopting these retrofit energy efficiency solutions is people are unsure about it, they're not familiar with it, and the notion you have to invite someone into your home can be quite daunting. We have built a tool online. You can find it on the website. You can go on and you can draw your roof, and we'll give you an accurate quote. It's about 95% accurate in terms of the panel layout, the number of panels. We give you a fixed price online. You can check batteries, how much it'll save you. And what it means for you as a client is you don't have to have someone in your home. There's a lot of pressure selling going on in renewables. We are trying to empower customers, give them the best tech, and give them access to get a price.
And Jack, you and I have talked a lot about giving this free advice to every single Resi customer. We've used this tool. Like, what do you think of this tool?
I think it's game changing. To be honest,
Game changing. That's a big statement.
It is, and I've had projects in the past where, like I say, we work in the very early stages, working on sort of concept designs. It's quite daunting to have to go out, get quotes even for a solar panel company to give you a drop of information, tell you how much sort of energy you're going to generate and how much it's going to cost. They'll want some form of sort of engagement with that. But I mean, just using this tool, we can quite easily see how much it's going to cost, what you're going to save on your bills before you've even started on the design. And I'm right in saying we can even sort of use proposed drawings to sort of look at if we have to.
Yeah, so from an offline perspective, again, we can propose a system without visiting the home. Let's empower the customer, give them the choices, and we can do that remotely. Yeah.
And just final bit, this quote, it takes 2 or 3 minutes to do.
It's really easy. Yeah, it's not great on a mobile. Not that our developers will agree with that, but desktop's the best experience.
Get a laptop.
Yeah, and you can try different roofs. You can try different battery sizes. You can see if it's going to fit on mum and dad's house. We don't ask for any information. You can save a quote, and if you want to engage with us, that's a customer-led action. So you can book a free design.
And all they need is their postcode. Is that correct?
Postcode and just some information about their home. Yes, like how many bedrooms, house type.
No brainer. Great. Okay, and final piece here. We talked previously about our customers can actually earn money with solar. Okay, what's this all about? How do they get cash in their pockets with solar?
So cash in your pocket from solar comes in multiple forms. One of them is obviously you're not buying all of your energy now from an energy supplier. So you're going to be producing energy locally and domestically, and you're not relying on the grid to buy that energy. Second thing is anything we don't use. So if our battery's full and our home loads are taken care of and our solar's producing, then we're going to automatically export to the grid. And there's something called SEG, so Smart Export Guarantee. This is a government obligation run by Ofgem. Any energy supplier over a certain size has to buy energy from you, so you can support the grid with your clean energy, and you'll get paid for doing it as well.
That seems like That's unbelievable. You'll literally be able to sell back to the grid if you're not using this energy.
Yeah, and it's all automated now. So the system that we have will do it all for you. You don't have to send off readings. You don't have to apply every month and get a payment. It's automatically done, and it's all done through our technology.
It's very exciting. Right. So what have we learned? That's it. That's our detailed discussion on retrofit, upgrading, and solar. I feel like solar, our customers being able to to supply over 75% of the house is just one of their energy needs is just fantastic.
I get excited for customers when I see it in my house.
And I love that this was driven by the energy crisis, because it shows it's now going to protect our customers in future if they have the solar panels, if they have the batteries.
Yes, 100%, yeah.
And obviously help reducing the carbon footprint. It may not be the priority for customers, apart from the 10% of really people who are interested in it, but it's important for this to be the secondary impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not just future-proofing for ourselves, we're future-proofing for future generations as well.
Absolutely. And with the batteries, which will come on to the next episode, we can store energy on site if we're not using it, and get it from the cheaper rates overnight.
Yeah, the batteries transform the systems, yeah.
And the last point, which I really love, which we talked a lot about, is the potential return on investment, and sort of comparing solar panels and batteries with a savings account.
Yeah. So a common question we get, which is sort of preconditioning to people, is what's the payback period? And a payback period is the amount of savings you've made, how long it takes to pay off the original investment. It's a metric that some people sort of live by. For us, we look at it a little bit differently. So let's say a typical user is paying around £1,500 a year for their electricity, and installing a solar system would save them, let's say, £1,000 a year. So if you have, and that's the cost of that system is £10,000. If you've got the £10,000 and you say, right, I'm going to put that in the best high street savings, safe place I can put it.
Yeah, 5%.
5%. You're going to get £500 a year. Put that £10,000 onto the roof of the property, and I'm now getting £1,000 a year. So it works twice as hard.
Yeah.
It's increasing the value of my home, and that's on today's metrics. So energy creeps up all the time. January, it's gone up again, and there was a notion it's going to come down, but look at petrol, look at oil. You get a bump, everyone's a big outcry, everyone moves on to the next thing, and secretly it just stays there, and it creeps and creeps and creeps. So the value of the investment increases year on year, whereas the money in your account would decrease. So look, ROI, payback period, everyone looks at it differently. For me, I look at it that way, which is if I've got that capital, I want to do my bit for the environment, I want my money to work twice as hard as it can anywhere else, and I don't want to be at risk of volatility of energy market. It's hard to beat, really. Maybe Bitcoin.
Yeah. So basically, a heatable solar panel and battery is a more sound investment than your high street savings account, because of the money you're going to save of your bills every single year.
Yeah, and your house, and obviously you've got the green initiative, you've got your house price improvement.
It's great.
Yeah, and obviously I'm super passionate about it, and I absolutely believe in it, but it definitely stacks.
That sounds great. Guys, thank you very much. This is our Resi's retrofit revolution, and we want to make it so much easier for you to speak to these guys and retrofit your house while you are extending. And honestly, our ambition is to give free retrofit advice for every single customer, every single person at home. Eventually, we want to be able to say, this is your potential with solar panels, with batteries, with your fabric upgrades, and this is why we're here today. So thank you very much. Again, back to the very first point I made, if anyone here at home wants to get free retrofit advice on solar panels, on heat pumps, on your fabric, email us on retrofit@resi.co.uk. That's retrofit@resi.co.uk with the code Resi's Retrofit Revolution, and we'll book you in for a call, and we'll let you know what the next steps are with your savings on your bills, you're improving your home comfort, and these specifications which you can have in your house. So now it is time for your questions. So let's get the questions here. Okay, so
Very small text.
Very small text. Let's see if we can, what can we do here? Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so first question is, hi, it's not easy to see the PowerPoint deck. Think you have the wrong view up. Okay, so the PowerPoint deck, what we're going to do is send it to every single person on this call after. So the PowerPoint deck you've seen, you'll see after this call. We'll email it out to you post webinar. So next one, can I put solar panels on a flat roof dormer without planning permission? Ben?
Yes.
In short, yes. And I think that's changed recently. It used to be there's some sort of restrictions, but now it's
changed, yeah. So it's part of this new decarbonisation drive, yeah.
Great. The new rule is up to 0.6 of a meter. And
0.6 of a meter, yeah.
How tall do your panels usually sit off a flat roof?
Generally, depending on the frame, you're looking up to about 40 centimeters. So you're going to be well under that 0.6 threshold, yeah.
Okay, so we've got Oliver Whitney. Really a specific question regarding Heatable. Why do you limit the choices of equipment? For example, you offer microinverters by NPAS, yet don't offer the NPAS battery. The rear panels are only 420 watts. Given labor is the biggest cost, like Jack said, lots of things do not justify this equipment. Why offer such a low-powered panel?
Right, okay, cool. So
panel, a detailed question.
Yeah, that's a really good question, to be honest. So going back to panels, when people see 420-watt panel, what it doesn't mean is that if you take that panel outside, it's going to produce 420 watt. Okay, it's all done under something called STC, which means it needs 1,000 watts of light per meter squared to achieve that. In the UK, the average is about 600. So the reason we have a 420 watt panel is, first of all, it's bifacial, so it captures energy on both sides. But second of all, you're never going to be in that optimization window to capture any energy above about 420, 430. Now, panels improve over time, but where we are today, we can't see a need to have a higher power panel from what the data we have from clients. And when we've tried higher power panels, we looked at a comparison early on with a higher power panel. It doesn't perform any better. What you actually get with a higher kilowatt peak panel is you lose the bottom end performance. So you might get a very peaky system, but you'll lose the base loading of the system.
So you won't get the benefit on a day like today.
You won't get the benefit on a day like today. No, it wouldn't on a string system today. It wouldn't activate.
Oliver, I think that question will answer the question. We'd love you to follow up as well if you have any more questions, Oliver. So you definitely give us an email. And again, from Oliver, a question for Resi. Why does Resi not offer solar panel and battery design as part of an extension design? I realize it doesn't impact planning permission, but it would be good to have that as part of the Resi process. Jack, you did my drawings from that. I had to go do the you had to go and do the research yourself. How big is my roof, orientation, roof angle? Honestly, Oliver, we have every single year we're reevaluating our offer to our customers and our processes and our packages. And this is the next step. The next step is every single customer would have this free advice. So as the technology develops and the out there develops, we're also developing. So from now on, you would now get that advice. So, and if you have any more questions, please give us a shout.
Just on his previous questions on the M-phase battery, we do M-phase batteries, so they're just not listed on the site. So we do install them.
Great. So anonymous, how much value could solar panels add to your home? Great question, Ben.
Give it to an actual percentage is quite difficult. There's lots of blogs, there's lots of studies being done at the moment. The general consensus is around 4 to 5%. It's difficult to place, isn't it? Because I think what it adds is desirability. What I can say from it, I was saying before, bizarrely, my previous, I started off as an estate agent, and the family still owns an estate agent business, so I get quite close to this. It's a desirability metric. It's probably like saying an extension. What does it add? It's difficult to assess, but it does add value.
And I think as well, if it was me and I was wanting to sell my house and I had solar panels, I would be making sure that agent was aware of the panels, making sure the agent knows about the bills, saving the bills, making sure that every single person who comes through that door is aware they're going to save £1,000 a year.
Yeah, 100%. Agents that industry needs to get behind this as well.
Great. Another one from Anonymous. I've read solar panels come with fire risks. Ben?
Great question. Right, they do for DC systems. So the panel itself isn't really the issue. What the issue is that panels produce energy, like we said before, in direct current. So direct current is polarity based. You've got positive and negative. You've got no earth. String system, so 95% of the market is a string system inverter, and you're going to have DC cables coming down to that inverter. When you string panels together, if you've got 15 panels that are 50 volts each, that's a lot of voltage coming off that roof. You're talking over 500 volts coming down. When you see these fires, it's because that cable has failed. The reason we don't fit those systems is our inverters are on the back of the panel. It's only 50 volts per panel, and we convert that energy locally. So there is zero fire risk with a heatable system. And it's going back to Oliver before, why do you only offer M phase? Probably the main reason.
Great. So your specific system, which is different to other systems, has a reduced or a zero risk to fire.
Yes, zero risk to fire, no insurance complications.
Great. Next one, do solar panels have to go on the roof? Could they go in the garden? How big of an area does the average house need? How big are these batteries to store the converted solar power, please?
So in terms of, do they have to go on the roof? No, they can go on what's called a ground mount system. So a ground mount system essentially is garden sited. It'll be a tilt frame. The one we fit is made by Schletter, and it's called Evo Max S. So you can Google that. 22 panel ground mount system. And in terms of how many panels do you need, we'll do a full design for you because we'll assess that on an individual basis. From our data, our panels produce about, on average, across the year, about 1 kilowatt hour per day. Average home in the UK is using about 8 kilowatt hours. So you need 8 panels, but you're not going to consume all that energy. So you probably go for 10. That's a basic calculation. Battery sizes. Sam, who's travelled up there down with us today, was talking the way down because we're doing a battery-only system at his house. And he was saying, where's it going to go? About the size of a suitcase that my wife would take on holiday for a weekend. So
it can go under the stairs, it can go in the garage, it can go in the utility room. These batteries are like, it's not going to fill the size of a shed. It's much more like compact piece.
You can go outside as well, IP rated.
Great. So Andy, that was your question as well about the batteries, and another one from Anonymous. So one from Lynette. Can you only have solar panels for heating or energy, or do they work for both?
Right. So when we talk about solar panels in this context, we're talking about solar panels that produce electricity. There is a technology called solar thermal, and that produces hot water. It's not really that popular anymore, and that's because you can now convert electricity to heat water. So what we have is a solution where we can put a PV, an electrical system, on the roof, and then we can charge things like immersions to hot water tanks.
So I guess the technology is better placed for the water in the immersion, not on the roof.
On the roof, yeah. Solar thermal's a bit of a dying product now, really.
Great.
It's much more compatible with the likes of air source heat units as well.
Yeah, so the system that we install, it's an AC system. It'll work with any appliance, and it'll power an air source heat pump as well.
Okay, this one I love. Solar panels can be an eyesore. Are yours any different?
So our panel is an all black design. So it's a black anodized frame. We have a black mounting system, black clamp system, and it's a black glass. So there's a review of our panel on our YouTube channel where you can see how it looks and how it looks when it's not against the roof. I was saying before, we get most of our business from a client who's had an install. The neighbors come out and go, that looks great, love it. We'll be showing you some photos, some jobs before.
Pretty good recommendation.
Yeah, so that's where it comes from. So I think they look great. My wife was against the idea when we had them installed at our home, had them installed, and she went, oh.
That's actually quite nice.
Look quite nice, yeah. So not anymore. The old blue and silver ones didn't look great.
Basically, they look great now. Sandro, what are the lifespan of the products, and maybe touch on the warranties as well?
Yeah, so the warranty on our panel and our microinverter is 25 years, and that is a parts replacement warranty. Batteries, you'll generally get between 10 and 12 years on a battery. N-phase batteries, going back to Oliver before, you can get a 15-year warranty on. They're just a little bit more expensive.
And there's a question here on the lifespan. At the end of that 12, 15 years of the battery, do they need replaced, or is it just that they become less efficient?
So what happens with batteries is they generally don't fail. They're just the performance degrades. Panel-wise, our panel will degrade about 6% over 25 years. So nothing really. Battery-wise, I would imagine in 12 years' time, you're going to want to change that product. The cost should have come down at that point as well.
And there's a question here on the noise of batteries. Like, do they, if they're in my utility room, will they be like emitting noise, or are they quite quiet?
Cheap batteries and inverters whistle. The stuff that we fit, silent. You couldn't even hear it when it was on.
Great to hear. Philip says, can batteries be installed in the cellar? I presume that's about moisture and the lack of sort of the DPM around that.
Yeah, so if it's a really, really damp environment, it's not a good idea. They are IP rated. The issue in a cellar would be submerging them. So what we would do in a cellar is make sure it's off the floor. Just in case that cellar ever filled with water, you won't want to submerge the battery.
Great. Shiv, you've asked, is this Zoom call recorded and available to playback? Yes, and we'll send out the Zoom call plus the deck after this here via email. Another one from Anonymous. Which battery would you recommend looking for the most reliable?
Alpha ESS.
There we go. You've heard it from the main man. Leila, please talk more about heat pumps. Most contractors we have spoken to advise against them. Would you convince us otherwise? Absolutely, Leila. We've also done a webinar on heat pumps a few weeks ago, which we can send to you directly. But I think you touched on something very interesting there about contractors who are recommending against them. This is all about the quality of installation, and the science is there. It is proven that with a good quality install from a reputable company, you will get the savings. It will last for decades, not for months. So it's all about the person you're trusting to install. So we work with some really cracking heat pump companies. What we'll do is we'll speak to you directly later. If you give us an email on retrofit@resi.co.uk, we'll follow up with our information on heat pumps. Oliver is happy with your answers.
Thank you.
Another one from Leila. Does PV and battery only meet household electric demand, or could it also replace current gas central heating?
Right, okay, good question. So household and energy current demands, about 75% is a safe sort of bet. To run a heat pump, it will contribute towards the cost of a heat pump, but it won't cover the cost of a heat pump unless it's a massive system. What I would recommend for a heat pump is OVO and Octopus have a specific tariff that will give you a lower cost to run the product. They use a lot of energy. That's the reality around them, but they're 400% efficient. So accessing those sort of tariffs is going to transform the cost of running that product.
Yeah, and again, with the these all work well together. Like if you have the battery and the solar and the heat pump,
yeah, I mean,
it really
it's going to take a significant chunk out of it.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to go off grid.
Yeah.
You know, you see these sort of off grid families that you don't see the days when they've got a diesel generator running. So it's going to reduce it massively. It makes more sense. Me personally, I would only have a heat pump with solar.
Yeah.
My personal preference.
We give 2 codes out for the email. Absolutely, use either code RRR or Resi's Retrofit Revolution. It's a bit of a tongue twister,
Nobody
especially
thinks that, isn't it?
with my thick Irish accent. So yeah, both of them will count. Another one. Are you guys on YouTube or anything similar? Would love to see more of you guys in your journey. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're everywhere. So if you just search for Resi at YouTube, Resi at Instagram, Resi TikTok, you will see these videos and links to future videos as well.
And yourself, Ben?
Yeah, we're on YouTube. Yeah. So what date is today? What's the date?
Today is the 11th.
11th. We've got a video going live tomorrow on the Heatable YouTube channel. If you want to see an install from start to end,
Interesting,
with a really efficient modern battery, I think it's 23 panel system. Watch that video tomorrow and you'll learn everything you need to know about our system.
You heard it there first. Another one from Shiv. How long do batteries typically last after needing replacing, and what is the typical cost?
So you're going to get a 12-year warranty with the battery for its function. Its performance, it's about 70% in 10 years. Replacement cost of a battery, it's not always, it's the cells that you replace. So it's not all of the hardware, it's just the cells. Right now, it's about 60% of the cost of the product. We're working really well with manufacturers to get that down long term.
Okay, 2 more questions and we'll wrap up. So second last one, what options exist for installation of solar in a conservation area? I've been told there is 0 possibility unless they are solar tiles or the same color of the existing roof. Do you have any experience with installing in conservation areas?
Yes, so we do. It depends whether it's visible from the road generally. So ground mount systems are an option because you can put laurels and stuff in front of them. What we've seen with planners in the last 18 months is a lot more encouragement to pass planning for green renewable projects. So it's definitely not a no, you can't do it without permission, but it used to be very difficult. It's getting a lot more straightforward.
Are you seeing this as well with the engagement from the planners?
Definitely. We're seeing a bigger push towards this. I mean, we've community development rights being changed.
Yeah.
And definitely sort of local authorities trying to sort of push their own green initiative. And I think it's helped by your panels themselves as well. They're much nicer on the eye.
Yeah.
And much more respectful when you're talking about conservation area.
Definitely. Yeah.
Game changing.
Definitely.
Game changing.
The last one from Philip: is there potential for solar infrastructure to be shared among individual households? I presume that's among more on one street.
Yeah. So there's the bit you can see and the bit you can't see. The way that electricity works, if you've got a solar PV system on your property and you're exporting to the grid, it's going to take the route of least resistance, i.e. you're probably powering some of your next door or your neighbour's property with exported energy. There's not a scheme where you could put all the panels in your garden and power everyone else. That's not there yet. Something that is coming, and our technology accepts it, is bi-directional charging from cars. So you can have a car, an EV, you can plug that into your charger and it can power your house. Maybe you could plug it into your neighbour's house. What we do is if you've got a street and there's a couple of properties that want to get solar, we will do a bit of a discounted package for being in that area at the time.
Fantastic. Guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ben, Jack, for joining us today. This is our second episode in our series in retrofit. And then we're going to get the Heatable guys in again for batteries for the next episode.
Yeah, so we'll do the battery one and we'll get some graphs and maybe try and share some live data with some systems as well.
Great. And if you've any questions at home, like I said before, the first 50 people will get that free retrofit advice. So just email retrofit@resi.co.uk. Thank you very much, everybody. You'll get an email soon with this video and the slides sent out to you. And have a great day.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you.
Cheers.